Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy. We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is episode
163. See, that's how that feels.
Yeah, okay. I'm Bethany. This is Sparky. This is Whiny. Little one is Moose. He might be a little too whiny.
But you said this is whiny.
This is Whiny. This is Moose. He's adorable. He's brand new.
He's cute as ever, which is why he's here.
Yeah, but he's a little...
But he may not be used to this yet. He's still kind of getting used to everything.
His little nervous, excited tail. Shh, shh, shh. All right, guys, we just want to remind you that if you want to put a comment below, we'd love to talk to you and answer your question live. Just make sure you include the age and breed of the dog.
It does help. And if you guys did ever submit a question and you hear your question being answered, if you want to throw one of your responses into the chat, we're usually looking for those. Yeah. We like the back and forth. It feels very real that way.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. You want to go ahead and jump into one of these? We got like 3 good potty training questions. Do you want to just hit them hard?
Do you want me to hit that long one? No, you got to hit the long one.
No, I've got the long one.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
All right, so we've got a 13-month-old. This is from TikTok, and was fairly potty trained, crate trained, spends unsupervised time in a large playpen. After getting spayed 3 months ago, she started having accidents indoor every single day, multiple times a day. Even when we take her out, she'll pee, and then indoors, she'll pee again an hour later. For a 13-month-old dog, that's definitely excessive for sure. It's a cavapoo. Pretty energetic. We bought a bell, hoping that could help us, but they just don't know what to do at this point.
I think we're probably looking at more than just the spay, because for female dogs, when a female dog gets spayed, they are more prone to having some accidents.
They are.
Because they're healing. It's more in-depth of a surgery than a male dog. But I don't hear about poop accidents usually with that. Do you hear about poop accidents with that? It's just urine usually.
Yeah.
I think this might be a little bit more anxiety. No judgment, but when your puppy was healing from their spay, did they maybe get a little bit more love?
And freedom.
A bit more freedom
and
on the couch and the bed.
Playpen time.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I think about. A lot of our schedules get a little bit messed up when they're healing because we're taking them out more often. We also sometimes feel a little bit bad for them, and to each their own, it's not a big deal.
Or just the fact that they were out in the playpen more or the same amount of time. I wish it was standard advice at veterinary clinics to be like, hey, if you've potty trained your dog and you use crate a little bit more the next couple of weeks. Yeah, yep. The next couple of weeks to kind of counteract, the issue of the anxiety and peeing. Because it could be legitimate peeing issue and then it became a habit.
Possible,
and now,
but we're getting the poop too.
Are we?
Poop, pee, and poop, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Multiple times a day, pee and poop.
Oh, okay.
Just constant. I think it's more structure related personally because you're getting poop as well, and that's not the medical end of the spay.
That's true.
That's more, you're probably off schedule and you need to get back onto it.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to do at this point. Bought a bell and hoping we can train her to warn us with that. Any suggestions?
Don't do
Bells
that yet.
don't teach dogs how to hold it longer.
Okay, you're going to have to take Moose. He says that
he's like, I'm done.
He says he cannot stop whining.
He says I'm done.
But he's so cute.
Bell is going to help you guys. It's probably going to make your issue a little bit worse. What the dog will probably do is start ringing that bell for a little bit of everything. Wanting to go outside and play. Wanting to go smell the roses in the bushes. It's going to just be a lot. It's going to be too much.
Yeah.
Go back to a schedule. If you guys weren't on one before, you guys can look up one of our structured skeletons on our Instagram page. There's a little link that will take you to it. Also, we have an online school where we talk about it pretty much on a weekly basis, 5 times every week.
It's our job to talk about it.
It is. You're right. It is our job. It is our job. We actually really love potty training. Well,
yeah.
I love potty training.
He loves potty training.
It's my jam, but get on a schedule and I think you'll probably fix a lot of the issues you're seeing.
And the water. You're going to have to kind of go back to basics and really give him water, remove water. And then you work with him, water chance, remove water chance. You're going to have to start regulating food, pee and poo, so nothing is left out anymore. You're going back to like a 4-month-old potty training schedule. Yep. And then I would nix the playpen for right now. And if I did use it, it would be like potty, crate, potty, work with the dog, walk the dog, potty, playpen, 20 minutes, potty, playpen 20 minutes. Like you're going to have to cut way down on your potties when they're in playpen. And then if they're out of playpen tethered to you.
The reason we're not as big of a fan of the playpen is because when they're on leash and you're holding the leash, you catch the sniffing, you catch the circling,
really
you catch
quickly.
the difference in body language, and you can get them out there pretty quickly.
Yeah. From Vontella, we're just going to really dive into a few potty things right now. My question is puppy's going on 4 months old, going back to work, potty trained, and I will not be leaving him free roaming while I'm at work. My question is, he's fully potty trained. So when do I transition him from out of crate to freely roaming in my home? I do have gates to block him off in certain areas when I'm leaving, but I'm worried he'll regress. He will regress because he's too young.
He's still too young. It's not about potty training for that level of freedom. It's about obedience. It's about maturity. It's about temperament. I have a dog that...
Respect for the home, which takes time. You got to go through some adolescence first, and
I have a dog who was very easy to train in the beginning. She was very obedient, and I was able to start leaving her out of the crate by 6 months old.
That's unusual.
Trust me, I know. I have about 29 students here at Puppy Academy right now, and we take 30 dogs a day, so it tells you exactly what that ratio is.
Yeah.
29 of those 30 will never get left out by 6 months. You're looking at 8 to 10, 10 to 12, sometimes even like 16 months. It's really about temperament. And how do you start seeing if they can actually handle that? What do they do in a playpen when you leave the room? Do they freak out? Are they starting to jump over the playpen? Like
barking at you.
Barking. Like you got to look at these mannerisms and see, is my puppy calm and balanced? Or are they overstimulated and always looking for something to do? If I have my dog less in the playpen, less on the place cot, like less on the bed, and I'm just holding a leash sitting there, can my puppy just settle down within 5 to 10 minutes without assistance from me? If not, they're probably not ready for it. These are the mannerisms that I look for. What do you look for?
I would just say that like in your blocked off area, are there no cords? Or is there no access to a trash can that he could accidentally knock over one day and realize there's goodies in it and get his head stuck in a chip bag? Like there's a lot of things to take. Chip bag. Suffocation.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
There are a lot of things to consider leaving your young dog out that don't even have anything to do with potty training. And so
counter surfing, electrical cords.
And you have to also understand if your dog can hold it a certain amount of time, that's cut in half when they're out, moving around. And so for me, it's more about, that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 month mark. They tend to go through some real nonsense, some real adolescent nonsense, even if you're doing an amazing job. Like most puppies go through that. So I would want to see how they are around 1 year old. Like, are they pretty chill? Like my German Shepherd was pretty chill. And so we tried to wean off of crate. Then that's how we found out she's actually a chewer. That's how we found out Dakota is a chewer, because she was gnawing on wood, which is common. Wood is a natural element, and so they have this genetic part of them that's like, well, that's okay to chew on. And so anyway, we were like, okay, not mature enough. Needs a little bit more training, needs me to kind of watch her while she's free. And that would be the next thing, is you would actually spend time out with your dog while they're free, not let them have access to you and be holding them, but let them learn how to be away from you and settle down and you're ignoring them, and then see what they do with themselves, So there's a lot of stages I would go through that doesn't even have anything to do with potty training. Okay, you good on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good.
Okay, so one more thing just to round this out. We do not answer questions with older dogs. This is definitely on the older end of a puppy, but it's relative to what we were talking about. So started to go poo and pee at night, but now is going poo and pee in the living room, sometimes right in front of the dog door rather than going through the dog door. During the daytime, she does like her alone time, will hide under our bed, but then she'll pee in our bed and on the carpet in the bedroom. Now you've got, and this is Shannon, you've got some anxiety that you're dealing with, and thank you so much for watching us for a while. From Texas, hello, big state. What I would say is that you don't have really a choice but to go back to potty training for puppies. And so, like I worked in rescue for years, and it's kind of the same thing. You get a 2-year-old or something, and it's like, no, for the next 6 months, you're doing a crate rotation. And when the dog is out, they are tethered to you on a leash, especially if it's a male, because they always want to mark. Mm-hmm. And so you can see the signs and you're taking them out. To me, what's happening here is some anxiety. and some confusion. Maybe they don't want to leave the house and go through the doggy door when you're home. That's actually really common.
I also think about Texas is really hot.
It's
so if the dog feels overheated, they're less likely to go out there. Dogs pee and poop where they're most comfortable.
Yep.
Or where they've been trained to go.
And that's what I was going to say is they're most comfortable in your bed and where they can smell you. And so there could be a little anxiety there too, but yeah, they're comfortable there. And so that's what they're doing. And so honestly, you've just got to go back to a puppy schedule. So anything you read about potty training or hear, we just answered 2 questions on potty training. That's what you've got to do. Okay?
I also think you need to break that comfort zone too. If the comfort zone is on the bed and that's where she's peeing, I'd eliminate human bed for a while. It was human bed, right?
Yes, it's under the bed, and then we'll pee on top of the bed, I believe.
I would eliminate human bed for a while. Go back to your crate overnight, or even just like a dog bed with a little tether on a harness. You could tether the leash to your side table, clip a leash to the harness, just keep it short and put a dog bed there.
Yep.
She can roam around a little bit, but she's going to have to default to that little dog bed.
Yep, agreed. And I would stop letting her hide under the bed, give her a crate instead. There's a lot of issues that come with hiding under the bed that we are not going to get into. But okay, I've got some questions. Hello, Instagram.
Sound like Blue's Clues. I got some
questions.
I got some
How do you know about Blue's Clues?
I was a Blue's Clues kid. Now it just gives me anxiety.
Okay.
And nothing gives me anxiety.
We're not going to really dive into that today. We're going to just let that one go and
some repressed childhood memories.
We're not going to get into the psyche of Sparky today. That is not what this is for.
You guys don't want anything to do with that.
Paris Baker says 10-week-old male Staffy jumps, barks, nips. 10-week-old Staffy. That sounds about right.
That's a baby. That's a baby.
Yeah, but it's a Staffy.
I know.
They're like, hum, hum, hum,
we call them baby shark.
Yeah. It's like a Malinois with muscles, basically.
Yeah.
And so honestly, this dog needs to be bumped off. So if this dog is coming up to me, and I know it's a puppy, but it's like a little muscly bullet right now with a little roly-poly belly. And so when it comes at you, you're gonna be like, no. And it's going to roll over. Because it really is just going to, with its muscles and its roly-poly belly, it's really just going to roll over. And you're going to go, oh no. No, you're not. You're going to go, the dog is fine.
Breath,
it's like when my little girl falls down and she gets like a scrape or a bump. She's like bruised all over from falling. I'm like, I'm fine. It's fine. She's fine. It's fine.
I think you're supposed to laugh about it now.
Well, it depends. It depends. Well, we're not getting into it. It depends. But okay, if she thinks you're laughing at her, then no, it's not a good idea.
I thought you're supposed to laugh with them.
It's not blanketed advice of laughing at your child when they fall.
I'll take your word for it.
Don't laugh at your puppy either. Just be like it's no big deal. And so my point is, you need more boundaries. At 10 weeks old, they can stop at thresholds. They might not know how to sit yet, but they can wait at thresholds, wait at crate door thresholds. So when you open the door, does your puppy wait for permission to come out? If you have a playpen that has a door, do they wait for permission to come out? If you don't have a door, do they sit in playpen and wait calmly? Then when you go to pick them up and they jump, no. And then I might take the playpen and like do a little like bump with like a noise with it, or move it in if it's a wire one, because it's spatial pressure. There's a lot here to unpack. Another thing is
owning their space.
Place.
Oh yeah, go.
I was just going to say, owning their space is exactly right, and you can do that by teaching place, and that's what we do in our online school. That's really popular.
One of the biggest things that I run into when I walk into a new client's house, they have a young puppy. The puppy tends to be off leash. The first thing I tell them, put the dog on leash, try to manage them to a certain degree, but they're still going to try to jump on me and do all that. It's more about keeping them in your line of sight. If you turn your back to them, which a lot of people do, they turn their back, they think that like dissociates the jump from them. Nope, they'll just jump on your back and bite you in the butt.
Yep.
You need to face them head on, give that little bump, and then step in and own that space a little bit. It's not about just the bump and waiting. It's about the bump, move in, freeze. You're not trying to go hard. You're not trying to ask for commands, especially if they don't know anything yet. It's more about getting them to take that step back. Most puppies are going to try to circle around you, pivot, keep them in your line of sight. Eventually they're going to try it again. If you see them getting ready to jump, try stepping towards them without the knee before they even jump. Most dogs will even back off and then start rocking back into a sit. of which then you could even pick up the leash, do some redirection with food.
Yep.
You have a lot of different tools of what you can do with them.
Lots of
especially if
redirection.
you are preventative of that jump
Yes.
rather than reactive with the knee.
Which is food on you all the time when you're out of crate. There should be tons of redirecting with a 10-week-old. And I just gotta say this, even though I really should move on, but I have to say this. Paris, you might already know this, and so this could be for other people, not necessarily for you. But a Staffy is a Staffordshire Terrier. Do you guys know what terriers are? They aren't herding dogs. They aren't retrievers, golden and Labrador retrievers. They are actually bred like a Jack Russell, like a rat terrier. They are bred with bigger muscles to kill things for you. And so when I get these nippy Staffies, which is so common because they're very, very drivey, because they're kind of a little bulldoggy sometimes.
What does drivey mean?
With drivey is intense and pushy. Like they have a lot of intensity behind their jump, nip, and then you tell them no and they laugh at you and they do it again. And so that tends to be at maybe not at 10 weeks, but at 16 weeks, it's going to build and build and build.
We have the lady at 10 years old.
Oh, yes. And so for me, it's such a huge responsibility with these muscly I mean, they've banned these versions of dogs in the UK. And if you look at the statistics, it's scary. So it is really, really important that you guys, when you get a muscly breed terrier, that you really take the extra time and money into training them to learn how to take those instincts and channel them and then be able to stop those instincts when you need to. Because my border collie herds. I never taught him how to herd. He can herd beautifully, but I have to teach him when to herd and when not to herd. You have to teach a terrier when they can bite and when they can't bite.
There has to be an off switch. There has to be an understanding.
And you don't start at 6 months. You start now. All right, there's my soapbox speech. All right, I'm done.
All right, let's pull some TikTok, huh?
Do you want to do a TikTok one?
Yes.
And yeah, sorry, that wasn't just for you, like Paris Baker. I mean, I don't know if that helped you or not, but you probably already know about the breed. That was just, anytime we get questions like that if I get a protection breed, if I get a border collie, I got a speech for the border collie people too. I got speeches for all y'all.
Oh, this is a good one. From Jacqueline. Any tips on how to keep my puppy from crying when in their crate/playpen?
Yes.
Crying in the what?
Any age?
I didn't get an age on that one.
Okay.
We're gonna assume 4 months.
Yeah.
That's the age I'm going for in my brain. Did I see the puppy? No, I don't see the puppy. First of all, it's very normal for dogs to bark and whine in the crate. There is definitely a limit to how long we're going to allow them to just bark it out, which is like a principle that's relatively new and people accepting it. But 45 minutes is about the longest I'll let a dog just bark it out before I'm like, okay, this isn't just whiny barkiness in the crate. This is probably some actual crate anxiety. If I get it in the beginning, there's a couple ways to dissuade it. One, let's talk about what leads to it, the preventative. I don't want to tell you that you go up and tap the top of the crate and they'll stop, because most of the time it's us doing stuff that is causing it without us even realizing
I mean,
it.
they might stop, but they'll just start it up again if you're not changing how you are outside of the crate.
You got to get on the schedule, guys. You got to do some kind of routine. Is our puppy in the crate for a shorter period of time? If I had a puppy 4 months old, I'd be doing probably an hour and a half in the crate, 30 minutes out of the crate to start, just to see what I get. But when I bring my puppy out of the crate, they're not just hanging out, walking around. I have to give them activities. Most puppies in the crate that are whining and barking, they're probably overstimulated in some way. Walk, play, training, supervised separation. Those are the ways that I break down my free time. Walk and play, exactly what it sounds like. Training, exactly what it sounds like. Supervised separation. That's kind of the one that gets lost in the ether with a lot of owners.
Yeah.
That's my puppy existing with us without having access to us. But I know that sounds contradictory.
Aren't they doing playpen? They're whining in playpen as well.
Yeah, but the playpen may not be the right solution for it. Existing in the playpen with the dog that's trying to jump over it, barking and whining at you, you guys don't have a playpen dog.
I'd stick to crate.
Yeah.
I'd stick to crate until this kind of gets resolved.
Well, I think it'd be worth trying a dog bed with a back tie, seeing how that goes once you
only
teach
if they
place
taught
command.
place. Yeah, you have to not only teach place, but how to teach them how to reset themselves in place, which could take you about a week.
Go on YouTube or join our online school. Great resources both places, and look up how to teach place. What it really means is you're not just teaching them how to be on the bed, you're teaching how to give in and take away.
Yeah.
So You take a step away from your dog, they step forward off of place, you move in and eat up that space, and they kind of backtrack and usually even, hopefully, will sit for you. That's called giving in, taking away, and every time you do that, you're teaching them to create a boundary around this area, and it makes so if you ever do use a back tie for your supervised separation, which is just putting them in an area, we don't look at them, we don't talk to them, we don't touch them, it's their time to exist on their own and learn how to be by themselves. Guys, this is so important.
Yeah.
Confidence, independence, and in my opinion, the most important one, the ability to self-soothe. Almost like the barking in the crate, they learn how to self-soothe. So that's where it kind of transfers over. What do you want to add?
I was just going to say, but they're not going to be able to self-soothe if you're not mentally draining them. I don't mean fetch.
Yep.
I don't mean pulling out treats and being excited and doing a couple of sits and downs. No, I mean like blocks of time devoted to teaching them new things and mentally challenging them. And then what's your emotion whenever you're working with this puppy? Is the emotion up here like, good boy? And every time you enter a room and they're excited, you're like, hi.
And they perk up and they're super excited to see you, which they're going to be no matter what, but how you respond to that energy is important. Hi, puppy. They're the center of your world. That's instant gratification. When they're in the crate and they want out, bark, 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 they're expecting instant gratification.
Yeah. And
you got to be able to teach them the opposite end of that.
And the problem is you represent excitement. So when you try to give them constructive criticism, sorry, that was just in my brain and it actually does work for the analogy. But anyway, in their point of view, you're trying to give them structure. You're trying to guide them in this world. They're going to laugh at you because you're the fun, excited person, right? And so just keep those things in mind. I know we threw a lot at you. Maybe when you rewatch this, you
I'm going to throw one more thing at
you
it.
could kind of break these things down and take notes and just start doing some research on them.
The last part, which is the one that almost everyone makes, including myself when I first got my dog and I was still a relatively new dog trainer, is I'm getting ready to put him in the crate and, we feel a little bit bad because they're going to be in there for an hour and a half. Yeah. So we give a little bit of love. We carry him a couple little kisses before putting him in there.
What was that again? I just got a new photo for you to use for our podcast thing.
Don't you dare, Ricky. Heck, I'm going to make a sticker out of it.
If you guys have checked out our podcast, which is this, this kind of stuff, there's a hilarious photo of him. Yes, it's very funny. Okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Continue to give your advice.
It's the emotion. You're ending the whole free time with a lot of affection.
Yeah.
So then when you put your puppy back in the crate, he's sitting there like, what the heck are you thinking? Like, you can't give me love and put me in this crate. His expectation is to get more. You gotta end neutral. So you take him out of the playpen if he can do it. You take him off the place after a little bit of training and it's just neutral. House. Cover it. Put on your white noise machine, put on your sound machine, maybe your podcast on the TV or radio or wherever podcasts are. And then you just walk out. Ignore them. Just calm and relaxed.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Megna Megan? My 5-month-old, this is a mouthful, Great Pyrenees Pit Staffy. I need a photo of this dog. Has started barking at everything. 5-month-old. So that's really common, especially for large breed dogs. They're starting to hit adolescence. Started to bark at everything that goes by. How do we teach him not to bark? I don't know if this is happening on a walk or in the house, but on a walk is where you can really start to teach this association of when you see something, defer to me. When you see something, defer to me. So everything is, let's go work. So you see a dog way down the street, turn, let's go. Stop and sit, food, if he'll take food, keep walking, and keep turning off the distractions. Dog is coming at you, cross the street, work on your turns. Not sit and hold his focus, but can you move him through his emotions and you turn and him follow you? That's what you're working towards.
And you may not get food drive when the dog gets close enough. It's one of those moments where if you lose the ability to draw your dog's focus momentarily with food, just get out of there.
Yeah, you just get through it. And then when the triggers pass, don't just keep going because they're adrenaline filled. And so you do your turns, you stop and sit, you work on heel, like you regain their focus.
You're targeting mindset more than anything else.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here, basically. Go to the parks, do the same thing. Got a dog barking behind a fence, do the same thing. Work the house next to them, then cross the street of where the dog's barking, because no dog should deal with that if it's a front fence, and just keep working them. Teach them to defer to you with distractions, and then you're going to have to do the same version in the house. One of the ways I would do that is teach a let's go place. Let's go place. Hop on YouTube, I don't know, 5-month-old, that's a great age for our online school, but hop on YouTube, if not, and check out place command and teach a let's go place. And so that will be your redirection. And then in a month or two, you need to find a valuable no. How are you communicating no, don't do this, and catching him before he gets to the barking fit. Then by that point, when you add in your no, and you're like, no, get over here, go to place, it will all connect for the dog. But it's going to take some work for sure. All right, you want to do one more?
Yeah. I want TikTok though.
Okay. Well, I've got questions. I'm ready.
Okay. How many hours should there's an age, but I'm not going to say the age because it really doesn't matter what the age is. How should my blank month-old puppy nap and stay in the crate during the day? It doesn't matter what age we have on this paper. It's all about what you've started with and what you've built up to. The age was 9 months old. Obviously, it's an older dog, which is
so normally we'd say that dog could be in a crate for 4 hours, but not if they're not used to that, you know?
I have dogs that are 4-month-old that can do 4 hours.
Yeah.
I got dogs that are 10 months old that can't do more than an hour because the dog's not used to it and we haven't built them up to it.
Yeah.
It's all about teaching bladder control and impulse control. Impulse control to help them settle for longer periods of time in the crate. Bladder control to be able to hold the urine inside the crate for longer periods of time. Start them low, build them up. I mean, if I have a dog who's 9 months old and I'm starting them, I'm going to start with 2 hours in. Honestly, probably 3 hours in, 1 hour out. I'm going to limit my water intake, not prevent them from having it, but just measure out how much water you're giving. You're only really giving it near the end of their free time window. So they're actually learning how to intake the right amount of water, hold it for those 3 hours, come out of the crate. And the first thing we do coming out of the crate is leash them up, take them outside the potty. So you're literally saying, this is how long you can hold it. This is how you hold it. And this is when you get to relieve your bladder. It's all really structured.
And
it's to help their brain lock into that schedule better.
And if it's the potty issues that you're worried about, you actually need to do like a week of a ton of potty breaks. Yeah. Then you wean off the potty breaks because what that 5 to 7 days of taking him out every hour and a half, 2 hours does, or maybe that'll age a dog 2.5 hours. What that does is teach the dog that he's going to get a chance to go outside, and then he'll be able to hold it longer and longer and longer, if that's even.
Oh, so you're saying don't start with 3, start with much less than that.
Yeah, okay, so if you know the dog can hold it roughly 3 hours when they're out of crate, or in crate, I would do 2.5 hours, and I would just make sure that for a few days, make sure that they know they're getting a potty break, then try crate for 4 hours and see how they do. Now, if you're going to crate your dog for 4 hours, make sure they are being nurtured, fulfilled mentally and physically before and after they come out of crate. And then it's perfectly acceptable. Guys, dogs can
You're going to get a lot of barking, whining, crying if you don't.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But it's more than okay. Dogs will be in playpens or their house or whatever for sleep for 12 hours a day. It's just you're telling them when to sleep. That's the difference.
Yep.
So.
And if I had a 9-month-old puppy, I'd probably start building up that schedule every couple weeks, maybe even once a week, add 30 minutes to it, see what I get. Not necessarily to the free time, unless you've already got a really good routine, your dog knows what to do when they're out of the crate.
Yeah.
But most dogs that are just starting the crate routine, they're already a little bit wild outside the crate. I'm not giving them much more than an hour until I know they know how to use the time properly.
Yeah. And then you go for a hike and they pass out for 2-3 hours in crate, just leave them till they wake up,
Bliss.
So start to play around with that kind of stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And we are done. And we'll see you same time, same place next week. Actually, it'll be just Sparky. I'm sorry.
Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.